very, very important.
No,
It is
that's
not
not
enough.
it. That's not what I want.
Bad basketball. The refs killed the game, and I will be the
This
first
is
to
awful
admit.
too.
Texans who will forever regret passing on Johnny
Is that serious
Manziel.
right now?
Oh, Golden Boy's coming back.
And he wants to come back.
Dancing with the Stars?
And
Dancing with the
he
Stars?
called out Conor McGregor.
Oh, shit.
No, that's
God,
true.
no.
Yes.
Hey,
It's a true
motherfucker.
story.
This I can get into.
And welcome back to Scout Team Sports. You wanted the best, and for some reason you clicked on this show. But hey, we thank you for that. My name is Chris America, and we have two. Well, I guess you're in front of me now. Usually you're to my left. But here is Kyle's Scout Team, Kyle Sanders. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful. Yeah, I don't like it. You're right across the table from me, so I can't reach over and punch you in the head. When you're sitting right next to me, you're within arm's distance. Makes it a little bit easier when you say some of that Gator legend BS that you like to mention. But,
Yeah.
at least I'm not a Florida State fan. That's what I'm proud of.
And to our left is an empty seat. Anthony Mack, the man with the golden mic, is out sick. You can't call out on Scout Team Sports, I don't think.
Well, I guess you can, and he did. I don't know if it's acceptable. I know if he was working for me right now, he'd be on his final written.
Final written? Yeah. Just so you know, Anthony, there is no sick leave with Scout Team Sports, especially if you call out the day of.
Yep. Nope. Definitely
Yeah, you got to
not.
call out the
He's
night
gone.
before. But I hope you get better, man. I guess he's got a cold.
Yeah, that sounds pretty terrible.
Sounds awful.
I mean, a cold. It's this you know what it is? It's this brutal winter weather here in Orlando,
It is.
Florida.
It's down to 64.
Yeah,
It's-
once it drops below 70, our bodies aren't used to that. You just start melting down. Your body starts breaking down. Your
Yeah.
immune system can't handle all of these germs that are out there because of this 64-degree weather at night.
At night. Well, what these friends to the north don't understand is that it's the bipolarism of our weather. It's 75 during the day, and then it drops down to 50 at night. It's just this constant up, down, up, down, up, down. That's what messes with my body. My immune system is, I show up to work in a jacket, and then I'm sweating, and I have to take it off, because it gets up to 80 degrees, and then the second the sun goes down, it's back down to 55.
So I've got a couple trips up to the Great North here coming up in
Do you?
the next couple
You're
weekends.
a world traveler, man. You're always on the road.
Oh, man, it gets tiresome. But I got a couple good trips. We just had Christmas happen this past Monday, which was awesome, right? Happy holidays to everybody out there. And we've got New Year's coming up. And one of the biggest things for New Year's is bowl games, man. We got the big bowl games coming up. And
Yep.
as everybody knows that listens regularly, I am a huge UCF fan. So kudos to my wife for getting us some Peach Bowl tickets for
Nice,
this
the
weekend.
Beach Bowl. I like the Beach Bowl. Who's playing in the Beach Bowl?
Beach
Is that in
Bowl.
Virginia Beach?
Peach.
Oh, Peach.
The Peach Bowl in
Really love your
Hotlanta.
peaches, wanna shake your tree. Did you shake your wife's tree to get those peaches? Those Peach Bowl tickets?
No, nothing like that.
We won't go there?
No, not going
All
there.
right.
Not airing that dirty laundry on the air. But maybe next time, I'll post some pictures. Shaking that tree.
Nobody wants to see that, bro.
Not of me. Nope.
No, nobody wants to
I'm
see
good.
that.
That's a good point. Yeah, excited to go see the Peach Bowl.
Now, are you driving to Atlanta or are you flying to Atlanta?
We're driving. We're
Okay.
staying the weekend. Driving out Friday night. Not looking forward to traffic. Not looking forward to the long drive. But I am looking forward to the game. There's some alumni festivities that'll be going on, so I'll be attending a few of those. And I predicted it before, but I want to say it one more time. UCF will come back with the victory. Auburn doesn't stand a chance. And I really like to see how UCF's going to respond. Scott Frost has been there at their side. He wasn't on that recruiting trail for Nebraska like probably a lot of Nebraska fans wish he was. He was just out there practicing with the guys, doing it all for UCF. So, hey, this is going to be some good stuff to see.
Yeah, I'm definitely right there on board with you with the Auburn UCF. I think UCF is going to shock the world, man. Everybody's counting on them to lose. I was a little doubtful when there was kind of this week-long wishy-washy what's going to happen with the coaching staff, who's going to coach this game. But then when practice opened up, Scott Frost was here in Orlando. He had his shorts and his T-shirt on, which I'm sure he loved coming from Nebraska. And he said, I'm 100% here. I'm 100% focused. And when you think about it, people say, oh, he's distracted by recruiting for Nebraska. Well, if he stayed with UCF, he would be distracted by recruiting for UCF. So it's nothing different than anything else. It's just when he goes to talk to a recruit, he's not talking about UCF. But if he stayed the coach at UCF, he'd still have to recruit and game plan and go to practices. So there's really no difference there. I think Scott Frost really has this chip on his shoulder after hearing how much disrespect. I think Auburn's a negative 10-point favorite. So look out for UCF to win this game.
So I think I'm going to try this week to go to my bookie and put some money down on this game. I think getting a good...
You going to throw down some Bitcoins?
Yeah, oh yeah. Definitely. I've been mining Bitcoins for the last 17 years. I finally got half of a Bitcoin, and now it's worth a lot of money. So I'm going to put that down as a good wagering coin. I don't even know what it looks like because it's virtual.
Yeah, every time I try to mine for Bitcoins, these creepers come up to me, and I try to hit them, and then they blow up or something, and they mess everything up. So kudos to you that you've been able to do that, because I can't seem to get anywhere mining for Bitcoins when these
the
creepers
zombies
come
are
out.
the worst.
The zombies are the worst.
The zombies are the absolute
Those
worst.
giant spiders, man. Crazy.
Ah, those are the worst. So it might snow when I'm up in Atlanta. So the forecast says
You're going to have to bust out your winter coat.
the good news is the game's in a dome. So
Yeah, that is good.
I can survive that weather. It's just walking from the car or from the hotel to the dome.
Well, if you drink enough at the tailgate, you should be feeling pretty nice to be warmed up to handle that kind of cold weather.
Well, the plan is not to be sober the entire weekend. So it's going to be straight. There's no hair of the dog because it never gets to that point where I sober up enough
Right.
to feel that I need the hair of the dog yet.
Now, when you're binge drinking for a whole weekend, is that a light beer binge drinking? Is that you're not drinking IPAs, are you?
Well,
Or are you going liquors? Like, what are you doing when you binge drink for a whole weekend?
it would probably be more like a light beer, like
Yeah.
something like a Coors Light,
Something
something
that
I can
doesn't leave you
hang.
heavy. And
Yeah.
you can just kind of pound them all day and all night.
Now I can pound that back like 4 or 5 IPAs, feel pretty good, but man, those things hang heavy on your
Yeah.
stomach, dude. Oh, can't binge that all weekend. So you got to go with like something a little bit lighter.
A little lighter.
And if I'm on my diet, because New Year's resolutions are coming up, I might go
Yeah.
Mick Ultra. That's the diet
Mick- yeah,
beer of beers.
What is it, like 65 calories?
Yeah, and it's only like 0.01% alcohol.
Yeah,
It's basically like drinking a St. Pauli girl.
pretty much.
Same thing.
Bartles and James is also another good one.
No.
You good when New
No.
Year's when New Year's ball hits down, bust open the Boone's Farm.
Boone's Farm, that's a good one.
Always some good variety of flavors with Boone.
See, when I was in high school, you know what was popular?
What's
The
that?
St. Ides.
Oh,
Yeah, I love that stuff, man. They had some good flavors. A buddy of mine had the worst fake ID you've ever seen in your life. He had it when he was 16 years old, and there was this like really crappy little Chevron over by us that sold the liquor at the St. Ides. So he would go get some. We would drink it, and yeah, it's good stuff.
you know what made me so mad when I finally turned 21 and I bought alcohol for the first few times? I think like the first 4 times I bought alcohol, I never got carded.
Yeah,
And I was so pissed because I'm like, I could have been buying alcohol this whole entire time.
it's the fear
Right,
that
the fear of the unknown.
that like 19-year-old cashier is going to be like, "Hello, sir. Where's your ID? I need to see it."
And I hope nobody under 21 is listening, and if you are, do not follow this advice. But if somebody asks for your ID, you can just be like, oh, damn, I left my wallet in the car. And then you get in the car and you just leave. And you go to the
Seems like
next
such
gas
a-
station.
Yeah, it seems like such an easy idea.
But like you said, when you turn 21, you lose any fear of like actually getting in trouble for buying alcohol.
yeah, now I'm like, I get angry old man. Like if I forgot my ID in the car, I'm like, dude, look at me. I'm old as crap. Why are you IDing me?
Right.
Just sell me the damn beer. Like, what are you thinking over there? They're like, oh, but we have to ID everybody. I said, if I was a 90-year-old like George Burns walking in here with a cigar hanging out of my mouth, would you be IDing me then? No, you would not be. But the fact that, I'm of around legal age or kind of look like I might be of around legal age, that's what kind of messes everybody up.
So have you been carded within the last 5 years?
Yes.
You have.
Yeah, no, I got carded this past week. Okay, so it was Christmas Day,
Right.
and the family and we decided we're going to have a nice Christmas Day. After we do the present opening and all that fun stuff in the morning, we have reservations to go see Jumanji
Oh, nice.
in the movie theater.
How was it?
It was a great movie. The Rock and Kevin Hart just have this chemistry together where they're just funny as shit, and I don't know what to say about it other than it's a must-see. I give it 4.5 beards out of 5.
Nice. All right, so you go to Jumanji.
I go to Jumanji, and I didn't drink because I have this problem where I have a really tiny peanut
Right.
bladder when I drink a lot.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And so I hate going to a movie and drinking. Even though it seems like a great idea, it isn't. But my wife was like, hey, can you run over and get me a Pinot Grigio from
Okay.
the bar? And I said, okay. And this movie theater has a little separate bar on the side, which is a great idea for a movie theater. And the girl, she's like, I need to see your ID, sir. I said, yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
I said, I look like I'm under 27.
Yeah.
That means that you have to ID
You have
me.
to ID you, yeah.
So I was like, so what's your name?
Yeah, exactly.
She was like, ha ha ha, you could be my dad. It's a bitch.
Booch. So
How dare you?
now you kind of reminded me of this idea that I've always had, and it's a multi-million-dollar idea, probably billions of dollar idea. But I think they should put little TVs inside the bathrooms at movie theaters, and then you slide your ticket in like a little scanner thing, and then it pops your movie up. Wherever it is in the movie theater is what will play in your stall.
Dude, that's a good idea.
That's a great idea, and I don't know why we haven't done this yet.
So once you start serving liquor, beer, wine, whatever at movie theaters,
This is the next
that
step.
idea goes hand in hand.
Goes hand in hand. I've had this
Absolutely.
idea for since I was 20. Because
Wow.
I'm like you, I have the little peanut bladder, and I hate running to. And you try to find a lull in the movie, and it's really hard to decide when that lull is going to come.
Well, as soon as you pick the lull, you're like, okay, this is great. You run out and you come back, and it looks like it's this epic scene that you walk in the
Right,
middle of, and you're like, what's going on?
And whoever-
Rewind it.
and who-
Stop it. Rewind it.
And whoever you're sitting with doesn't want to tell you what you just missed because they're trying to focus on the
they're like,
movie.
shh, I'm paying attention. Stop
Yeah.
it. You're the one that went to the bathroom. No,
So this avoids it. You would only have maybe a minute going to the bathroom and a minute coming back, but you still have that 2 to 3 minutes you have going to the bathroom and everything else, depending on how much you have to pee or the other thing. It's great.
The other thing, that would be really
I might
good.
just spend the whole time in the
Well,
stall.
I was kind of thinking that. I'm wondering what the lines would look like in the restroom. Because, when a movie gets out, they're long anyway.
Right.
So then you also have all the people from the movies that are still in
That's
going.
true, that's true.
And then all of a sudden you create this utter chaos. It's like a shitstorm of urine, shit, and movies.
So
all
maybe
in
we
one
make
little
it maybe
stall.
we make it like a 2 minute thing. Like your ticket only works for 2 minutes and then it shuts off.
Okay.
Kind of get you to rush back.
All right. It's like
It's a
having-
working idea.
like putting a quarter in to get a cart at Aldi.
And like we said before in the other show, if you say this is copyrighted, it's a copyrighted idea.
That's right. It's
They got to pay us if they make it.
That's right. I like it. We've put it out on the airways. That means it's officially our idea. If anybody else uses it, we're getting
We're millionaires.
Yeah, we're getting money the rest of our lives.
Forever.
Forever.
All right, we talked about Christmas already, and it's now coming up on New Year's, but obviously every show this time of year has to do a reflection on the year that just went by. It's hard to believe 2017 is already gone, man.
It comes and it goes so quick. I feel like the older I get, the shorter the years get.
Yeah, I feel like 2027 is going to be here within a matter of 5 minutes.
And I'm a big conspiracy theorist guy. I feel like we got to enjoy the time we have now because technology is going to take over the world.
Take over the world.
Because you look at where we were at 20 years ago, there weren't these handheld computers and all this technology where
Right.
you can watch people at all the time. So Skynet seems like it has finally taken over and become what we've always dreaded it to be. So enjoy it now while Skynet is still pulling itself together.
So I watched this movie called The Holiday with Cameron Diaz and stuff with Jen last night.
Uh-huh.
And it was made in 2006. So this was 11 years ago. And it was just amazing to see people have flip phones and using like paper directions to get around town and figure out where they're going, and to not have there was so much technology that they didn't have. And I made the comment to Jen. I was like, I can't imagine living in this world where we have to use MapQuest printed out directions and not be able to look up things and everything else like that on your phone. Like, not smartphones alone just has changed our lives completely.
It is. It's crazy, the technology.
It was weird watching this world. It seemed like ancient times watching this world without smartphones in this movie.
And it was only 11
years ago.
When you see movies from like the 80s, like those people had no idea. There was no phones, like period. Like every once in a while you see that one person pull out that giant brick and be like, look, it's my car phone. Like a car phone. That was like the technology of like 1988 where everybody's like, this is the future.
I mean, wasn't 2006, wasn't that when Jerome Bettis was winning a Super Bowl against the Seahawks? Was that year?
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago. Not at all.
But it seems like forever ago that Jerome Bettis was a football player. Like, we just talked about UCF and recruiting. Like, these college kids have no idea like what Jerome Bettis looked like playing football.
You know, and that's when James Harrison was first starting out. That was like his 6th season in the league.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about James Harrison. But let's do our year in review, man. This was a pretty cool sports year. It started out with a bang. We had a really great national championship game between Alabama and Clemson. Last second touchdown drive by Deshaun Watson upset the Alabama Crimson Tide and started this dynasty basically with Clemson and Alabama. Here we are a year later, not even a year later, and they're playing again.
You know, it's been exciting to see the dynamic adventure that Clemson's been on, because I'm one from the very beginning that said as soon as Deshaun Watson was gone, this team would drop off. Like, I did not have any confidence in them. And we're realizing that Dabo Swinney is more of a legendary coach than we've given him any credit for. I think we felt like Deshaun Watson was carrying that team, which he's a superstar. He's shown it in the NFL. He's shown it in college football. He's unbelievable. But we're now seeing without him, we've got another guy, Kelly Bryant, who's kind of just filled right in that same role. And then you've got the rest of the team. They've got an amazing defense. They've got plenty of weapons on offense. They're just an overall well-balanced, well-rounded team. They hit their slump in the middle of the year. They got over it. They had their one big loss. They got over the injury to Kelly Bryant. And now they're kind of hitting on all cylinders. So this is going to be a great bowl season. I still am hoping Alabama wins. I think the smart choice is Clemson.
Right.
But in our Scout Team Sports bet that is going out there, I had to pick a team. And, you know, I have trouble betting against Nick Saban. I really do, because the dude has so much experience in these big games. He knows how to get these guys up. He knows how to game plan better than anybody that I've ever seen. It's very like Belichick-esque when it comes to being ready for their opponent. Alabama is always ready to match up against their opponent.
Yeah, so let's stick with the year in the review thing.
Hey, that was year number one, right?
Yeah.
So
it was year 2. That was round 2 for those guys. But then let's flash forward to the Super Bowl, which was by far one of the most entertaining Super Bowls of all time.
See, I totally missed that segue. I started getting into how he was Belichick-esque, and I could have been like when Belichick won the Super
came back
Bowl.
and won the Super Bowl. Yeah, so
what do you got to say about that? I mean,
I think it was a great Super Bowl, man. 28-3, the comeback. It was obviously not the result that most Americans wanted. Everybody hates the Patriots, but Tom Brady definitely solidified himself as the GOAT in that game. And when you got a great national championship football game and a great Super Bowl, you know it's going to be a good start to the year, man.
All right, so I like to get off the rails a little bit. I know you hate this. What would you say are your top 3 Super Bowls you've ever watched? Thinking about this game at 28-3 with this comeback, This has got to be in the top 3, I would think, for you, right?
Definitely. That's definitely probably number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, maybe this would be number 1 as well. It has got to be that 2007 New York Giants Patriots game. which now it sucks to say that 2 of the top 3 Super Bowls involved the Patriots. That game was just so great because of everything that rode on it, the undefeated season, the Tyree, what was his name, Tyree Hill?
David Tyree.
David Tyree.
Yep.
Kind of got it around there.
Yep.
The catch, you had Plaxico Burress saying that they weren't going to win. Or no, it wasn't Plaxico Burress. It was, who's the guy with the gap in his teeth?
Michael Strahan.
Michael Strahan saying they weren't going to put up any points, and Tom Brady getting mad that he predicted a low-scoring game and everything. So, and then when the Patriots lost, they had that great Super Bowl commercial with the Miami Dolphin, the 74 Dolphin team, or 72, celebrating the fact that they're still undefeated. I thought that was pretty funny. So my third one, man, there's been a lot of great Super Bowls. Like, some of the ones that come to mind is the Titans versus the Rams.
Oh,
where
the
it
Music
stopped
City
right at the goal line.
Miracle or whatever it was
No,
called.
the one where they stopped at the goal, or the Titans were driving, and then they caught the ball over the middle, and he got tackled at like the 3-yard line. He's stretching out for the goal, and then the clock expired.
Yeah, that was when Dyson had it, and it was the end of the game right there. I thought that was the Music City Miracle. That wasn't.
No, the Music City Miracle was I thought, because there wasn't a miracle there. I
Oh,
thought that was like a playoff game where Warren Moon came back from or not Warren Moon, but maybe the Bills came back down like 28 points. I don't know, but
that's okay.
you'll have to look it up.
We'll
machine
check
that.
it. Yeah, we'll check it out on my fax machine.
What do you got?
Okay, so there's a couple Super Bowls that come in mind, and I won't beat them into the ground.
By the way, we're definitely taking away a segment from our Super Bowl preview show coming
That's
up in
okay.
like 6 weeks.
Hey, that's okay. We can revisit this at any time.
We'll get Anthony's opinion on it if he's not sick.
Or whoever we get to replace Anthony on the
Right.
scout team. Sorry, Anthony. I know you're listening. I hope you feel better, and I hope you find a new radio gig soon.
Yep. So I know you're gonna throw a Redskins game in there, right?
All right, so I got to throw a Redskins game in there. So last time Redskins won the Super Bowl, 1992, they played against the Bills. It was really the only Super Bowl I remember because I was too young. I was only 5 years old when they won in '87, and so at 5 years old, you really just don't have that same understanding of what it was. But in '92, I was old enough to really understand the levity of the situation or how important it was for this franchise and watching it.
To be honest with you, I think that's probably my first Super Bowl memory is that '92 Super Bowl where I can remember where I was at. I was at the neighbors across the street. I remember my favorite part of that game was the Bud Bowl.
Yes.
And seeing Bud Light versus Budweiser. And
that's the best.
The Bud Bowl. And I just remember the Redskins beating the
Bills.
The Bills.
Senseless.
And then I've remembered every single Super Bowl after that. I remember the Rose Bowl, Super Bowl with the Cowboys and the Bills. And I think Michael Jackson was the halftime performer that game.
So '92, it was Gloria Estefan. I remember
nice.
that. Yeah, see, I got a lot of these vivid memories. So that was like my first really good Super Bowl memory. One, because it was my team, and two, because it was that first time I really remember it. I would say the Steelers and the Cardinals Super Bowl. That one happened a few years back. I can't remember what year that was, but it was the Super Bowl where Larry Fitzgerald went off. That whole offseason, that whole playoff run, he looked like the best wide receiver I have ever seen in my entire life. He played like a man possessed, and Kurt Warner was still the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I thought that team was destined to win. And then at the very end, Roethlisberger throws that touchdown to Holmes in the corner. I didn't even think it was good. They show it. The fact that Santonio Holmes got his toes down, makes that catch, and basically ruins the Cardinals' chances of winning a Super Bowl after Larry Fitzgerald put on a performance of just unbelievable. It was, I can't even describe how
epic proportions.
Yes, epic proportions. That's what I'm getting at there. So just remembering that, I think that to me is a great Super Bowl memory. And the David Tyree one, that one was unbelievable. And then, of course, this past year, top 3, maybe top 2. I still think the David Tyree 2007 is my number one Super Bowl experience. And number 2 could have been this past year when we had the Falcons. Totally blow it, man. They could have ran the ball more. They could have done something better. They could have played in the second half. They could have done anything. And all you saw was the greatness of Tom Brady shine through, and that's what that Super Bowl will be known as the moment when Tom Brady became the GOAT, and it should be in everybody's eyes. I know people will still argue it, but I was always a Peyton Manning guy. I always thought Peyton Manning was better than Tom Brady. I said, look at him. Tom Brady got lucky on those 3 Super Bowls. They were Adam Vinatieri Super Bowls. But you know what? Over the years, Tom Brady's the GOAT, man.
He is.
They can't say anything to that. So that Super Bowl this past year, I think, is where his legacy was made, where it's not ever going to be touched.
Well, let's go back to 2017. Let's get this train back on the rails. We had March Madness. UNC comes back. They played in their second national championship in 2 years, and they finally won. They beat Gonzaga. Your USC, that's your second team, I think.
Yeah, they had a fun run, though, USC.
They did, and they beat my Gators in the Elite Eight. The Gators had a magical run where they made that last-second crazy three-point shot. It was a very fun March Madness to watch, but I don't think that national championship game lived up to the hype that the Super Bowl and the college football championship game did. And then nothing really happened in April and May, but then we get to Memorial Day, and the big story out of that, Tiger Woods gets that DUI. Just when you thought Tiger Woods was out of the woods, he finds himself in trouble again and finally checks himself into rehab. And the good thing about that story is now you flash forward to today, not even, I guess that's about 6 months now. He's doing great, and I'm more than happy for him, and I'm really rooting for him. We're going to talk about the things we look forward to in 2018, so I'll come back to Tiger Woods on that.
No, I completely agree with you. When I saw this on our notes, I'm thinking, we're bringing up all the negative stuff, just like every other person in the media, because that's what sells. But I really want to focus on the positive. I want to say that, Tiger Woods, he has not been the character of years past where we knew and looked up to him. He's turned into, I hate to say it, but kind of a scumbag when you look at the DUI, you look at the drug stuff, you look at the wife abuse, the sex
Well, he didn't abuse
addiction.
his wife. He just cheated on her.
Yeah,
The emotional abuse, I guess.
Yeah, emotional abuse.
Let's not make him out to be this wife beater.
Sex addict, whatever it was. Like, he's just got this name now where it's been kind of trampled through the mud. And you know what? He needs to get back to his roots, and that's playing golf.
Well, that's why I brought up the 2017 now. Just a few weeks ago, he was playing golf. He played great. Looked probably better than he has in a really long time. So kudos to that guy for changing it around, getting his life in order. And let's hope that in 2018 and beyond, we don't hear any more of these stories about him in the negative light. I want to see him back in my Gillette commercials, damn it.
Well, I completely agree with you. It was the year of the champions, except for one guy.
Who's that?
The man that is the greatest champion of all times, Conor McGregor.
No, you're skipping. You're skipping the NBA Finals.
What NBA Finals?
Yeah, there was no NBA Finals. One of the worst NBA playoffs of all time. In 2017.
What we could say, okay, great. Kevin Durant got his championship. He really earned it. The team he got drafted with, he brought. Wait, no. The team he got traded to that needed help. No, they didn't really need help. You basically just jumped onto a money train and rode that all the way to the championship.
But it was a close championship. No,
it wasn't close. But his mom was there.
But Game 3 was good.
Yep, Game 3 was really good. And Wanda Durant, when she was pulling his beard at the end when they won the championship, and she's like, look at me. You did this. Look at me.
You did this.
That, to me, that's a memorable moment.
That
was one of my, it's burned in my brain. I'm like, damn, she's got him on lockdown.
And then we can't skip over the biggest sport event of the year. Scout Team Sports comes to life in July 2017, man. It's crazy we've been doing this for 6 months, and I've had a ton of fun doing it. But, man, that first show in July, I'm going to have to listen to that before the end of the year just to see how far we've come with that first episode where we're in the bar and we have, like, really shitty mics and just bad echoey and stuff. But it was fun times.
You know what? That wasn't just the first episode. That was the first, 6 episodes.
Yeah, pretty much.
It took us a little while to get the equipment right, get the technical aspect of it. I mean, we're still out today at a bar, lots of background noise, but we kind of worked our way through that a little bit. Having a little ambiance in the background's not a bad thing, but when it overshadows what you're doing here on the mics, that's never, ever a good thing.
So then the second greatest...
Wait, you forgot to mention one thing.
I'm about to mention it now.
UCF legend, Loudbeard Kyle Sanders, is on Scout Team Sports, and that he has helped bring the show to life.
Oh, yes. Definitely. Without you, I don't know where we would be.
In the gutter.
We wouldn't be talking about top 3 Super Bowls when we're trying to talk about 2017.
If it was just you and Anthony, all it would be is a argument about who's better, the Gators or the Seminoles. And you would go off about how the Gators were in the volleyball championship this year, and then about how
baseball championship, swimming titles,
and then he would just be like, "Yeah, but we've got Willie Swaggart."
But we won the Independence Bowl.
That's right.
All right. So the second greatest sporting event of 2017 was when Joey Chestnut defended his title in the hot dog eating contest. Still one of the greatest sporting events of all time, and
I think you brought that up on episode 1.
I did bring that up on episode 1.
Yeah, you did.
So I got to bring it up again. Go full circle.
You're bringing it all the way back. I mean, this is not a bad thing to talk about.
And then we had probably one of the greatest July and August for the NBA of all time. All the trades.
And honestly, all of these trades are looking like they're having major implications with the NBA season.
This has been a good season so far.
It has been a really great season. I think the Chris Paul trade, that in itself is going to be a really key trade as we go into the playoffs. Because you're looking at the Houston Rockets, who had a great year last year. They looked awesome. The Beard, James Harden, carried that team. They had a lot of great pieces. But now you bring on Chris Paul, and you're like, how are the two of them going to fit in together? How are these two going to work? And guess what? They work perfectly. They know how to complement each other. Chris Paul knows how to give it to James Harden. James Harden knows how to give it to Chris Paul. And I think the Houston Rockets could be the team that sneakily gives Golden State a run for their money and maybe, just maybe, takes them out this year. I hope for it.
Yeah, it'll be great to see. And the trade rumors and everything, when it went down, that made for a very exciting offseason. And then obviously the biggest breakup of them all, like you said, was Kyrie getting traded to Boston. It almost had that tabloid feel type breakup, kind of like when Brad Pitt left Jennifer Aniston. We had that sort of news where people had to pick sides and which team were you on. And I was Team Kyrie.
Yeah, I was not. I'm old school. I think LeBron.
You like to see marriages last and
forever.
Work out your differences.
They last forever.
At least for the kids, right?
Yep. And I like LeBron. I'm one of those guys that I'm not getting on the radio and saying, okay, I need to get my ratings up, and I'm going to say that this guy's better than LeBron now.
I feel like I saw that tweet somewhere today.
It was a good tweet. And, you know, Skip, he has his opinions. He does what he's got to do. But I myself am going to say this for a long time, that the best basketball player I've ever seen play was Michael Jordan. And LeBron James is the second best basketball player I've ever seen.
All right, that's fair. I can give that to you.
Yep.
Then we saw, I just saw an interception with Iowa and Boston College.
I know the bowl games are heating up.
Yeah, man.
I was like, man, look, Florida State looks good. Oh, no, that's Boston College. They actually look better than Florida State, except for that
they
interception.
Just gave an interception. It's their third turnover.
Yep,
hopefully Iowa wins it because I picked them in my
better than
college
Florida
pick 'em.
State.
Oh,
Still
Iowa
better.
is winning, so they can just down the football and call it a night.
So,
All right.
You were talking about the NBA offseason. I'm just going to, real quick, I'm thinking about this. We've got Carmelo changes teams, Paul George changes teams, Victor Oladipo, who at the time wasn't big news, but now he's becoming a superstar. He changes teams. Chris Paul, Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving. I mean, this was a musical chairs of an offseason in the NBA, one of the best ever, like you had mentioned,
Right.
And I just had to throw that out there. You kind of forget it, all these players that have moved around, and this, I mean, Jimmy Butler, the Minnesota Timberwolves are for real with that guy. So, good offseason in the NBA. What else do we have in the year in review?
And then, so next we have, now you want to get into Conor McGregor. That brings us into August 26th. That big fight, and how you lost the third best sporting event was you losing the romper bet.
A loss is a loss, and I'm going to be a man and say, you know what? I've made the wrong decision. I rode that one to the ground, but it was a fun ride.
It was a great ride, and I think it was
enjoyed
great
it
for the show, and I'm looking forward to this onesie bet that we have going on.
Yeah, and the onesie bet's going to be fun, but, that bet with Conor McGregor and Mayweather, at first, there's no way I thought that fight would ever happen.
No, me neither.
There was 6 months before that fight, I was like, these whispers that are happening, you think this could be for real? And then all of a sudden, it just like, it was announced, and they did that hype tour, and it was almost like a cartoon version of real life. Like,
it was.
You had no idea what... They could go out there, and there'd be like an anvil dropping on Mayweather's head,
right.
and McGregor
Conor
would be running.
runs into a rock because there's a painted tunnel in it.
Yeah, like that's what was going on at the time. It was reality had just completely disappeared. And again, I just enjoyed jumping on it. I had to hype my fellow Irishman, Conor McGregor. We're both Irish, and we both love fighting. So I had to go for it. I'll go all in. I didn't actually put any real money on it. I just put the romper on it. Thank goodness. I was thinking about putting some money on it because there were some good lines if he would have won.
Yeah.
But, I am really going to put some money on UCF, though. That's going to be my
Make it happen, man.
my retirement fund.
Bitcoins
right there.
for life.
Bitcoins for life.
But it was a fun fight to watch, too. It was definitely more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. It was like that movie where you had low expectations, and then it was better than what you thought. So it ended up being a great fight.
I agree. I completely agree.
And that romper bet episode was even better.
That was one of our best episodes. I think it was one of our highest amount of listeners. We had a great fanfare involved with that.
Yeah.
Great social media presence. We had a group, big group out to watch the show that night. And that's what we need more of in 2018. That's going to be our inspiration for the show.
Right.
And inspiration for where we're going. So great times in 2017. What other highlights from 2017 you want to bring up?
One of the things that I loved that happened this year that not a lot of people were happy about is we were told, I think it was like around August or September, that Americans don't have to pretend to like soccer this World Cup.
That was a good one. They said, you know what? We're going to save this for the Europeans, maybe the South Americans. So, America, why don't you stay out of this U.S. Cup?
No, it's the World Cup.
Sorry, I said U.S. Cup.
It should be the U.S. Cup.
Because Americans, we believe that we're number one. Always. Right, Chris America?
Right.
This message was endorsed by Chris America.
But I'm glad that now I do know some real soccer fans. But overall, when the World Cup comes around, you got all these people that pretend that they like soccer, and it's like, really, give me 5 position names.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. The casual fan may not get into soccer all the time, but that's because it's really not that exciting because there's nothing exciting going on. But you do have that little bit of extra excitement that comes around with the World Cup where people can get into it. Like, I like watching it, and I don't sit around and watch a lot of soccer games. Now, I do go and watch some of our local team, the Orlando City. I watch a little bit of them, a little bit of the Orlando Pride. But the World Cup just gets so much more excitement. It becomes such a bigger deal to the world, and it's fun getting involved with that. It's like the Olympics. Are you watching curling any other time of the year other than the Winter Olympics?
No, but I love curling.
That's the comparison.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I get the excitement. I don't like when people pretend so much that when you say, yeah, I don't like soccer, they like want to punch you in the face. That's the way a lot of soccer fans are. A lot of pretend soccer fans.
Soccer fans are extremely passionate. You've got to respect that. I mean, I'm a Redskins fan, and I'm extremely passionate about that. I've got a good friend that's a Browns fan. He's extremely passionate about his Browns. And, when they're 0-16 this year, he's going to be very depressed. But he's
ready. He's ready for that number 1 overall pick.
2 picks in round 1. I got
2 picks in round 1.
2 picks in round 1. So,
all right, so that kind of wraps up. I mean, right now we've talked a lot about, the college football season, the NFL season's going.
Wait a second.
What?
you did not once mention your Houston Astros.
Oh, that's right. The Houston Astros, and that was another good World Series.
That
Another good
was.
championship.
That was
I completely spaced on the World Series. I'm sorry. It was so exciting that I forgot.
The Houston Astros right now are disowning you, sir, as an Astros fan.
That's okay. I disowned them as soon as
they won the
World Series
championship.
over. I'll have to pick up a new favorite team next year when the playoffs start.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be the Nationals. We're running out of time before Bryce Harper gets signed by the Yankees.
Yep. Seriously.
But good job there to the Astros.
What'll happen is the
Great story.
Marlins will sign Bryce Harper, and then they'll trade him to the Yankees.
Are the Yankees buying another team again?
Probably. They try to buy one every year.
The Yankees right now, 2018 might be the year of the Yankees. It might be the year that the Yankees come back to being the Bronx Bombers and come out there and really just rock the world. Because Giancarlo Stanton, that's another thing in 2017. Baseball trades.
Yeah.
It's just like soccer talk. It's really exciting.
It really is.
It gets us,
especially when there's collusion and,
it really gets my
shenanigans afoot.
It really gets my motor revving.
Tomfoolery.
Really gets it going.
So now we're done talking about year 2017. It was a good sports year. I give 2017 an A minus.
Yeah.
The NBA Finals really brought it down, but overall, with the Super Bowl and the national championship game and the World Series going to Game 7, I give it an A minus.
Yeah, I'll agree with the A
How
minus.
many beards would you give it?
4.
4 beards?
3.5.
3.5. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 3.5 beards. My beard scale is very high. Like earlier, I mentioned a movie Jumanji being 4.5 beards. 4.5 was probably high. I'm gonna go to 4 on the Jumanji because I also said Star Wars was a 4. 4
right,
is,
you can't make Jumanji go over
no,
Star Wars.
I can't. I thought about that. Star Wars might be more of the 4 to 4.5.
But that could also be your expectations too.
It probably was. Being in
like we talked about with that McGregor Mayweather fight.
That's so true.
All right, so let's talk about the NFL playoff picture now. Let's talk about today.
Today.
Your Redskins are out.
Talk about the Florida State already?
Yeah, we already talked about Florida State.
Florida State. Go Seminoles. Now let's go NFL. Okay, I like where we're going with the NFL. So
let's start off with the AFC because the AFC is trash.
All right, we've got one position that really needs to be set, right?
What's that?
We're at one playoff spot still up for grabs.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars are locked in, the Steelers are locked in, the Patriots are locked in, and the Chiefs are locked in. So now we're going for the wild card spots. And there's 4 teams, I think. You got the Titans, the Chargers, the Bills, and the Ravens all vying for that spot.
Yep. And you know what? I don't have confidence in any of these teams. I would say the team that I'm least confident in is the Bills, but they are playing the Dolphins, which is another team that is a total train wreck. So anything could happen with that. I am high on the Chargers. They are playing the Raiders. I think that could be an easy win for them. But really, Tennessee. I think Tennessee's got themselves a really good spot here because the Jaguars have already clinched a spot in the playoffs. They may be ready and preparing and looking ahead past Tennessee. So the Titans may sneak a win against the Jaguars, and they will clinch a playoff berth with a win.
Yeah, and your Chargers are still in it.
You know,
they need a lot of help. It looks like they need to win their game, and they need both Tennessee and Buffalo to lose, or they need Tennessee to lose and Baltimore to win.
It's still possible. And I think every year there's one weird scenario that plays out where a team will come out of nowhere and get that last spot.
Right.
For example, because you really like talking about the Washington Redskins, so I want to do this for you, Chris America. Last year, the Washington Redskins were playing, and all they had to do was win, and they were playing against a team that was already out of the playoff picture, and they just needed to get that last win, and they blew it, and they were out. Let the Giants in. Screwed it. Screwed the pooch.
Screwed the pooch.
So that's like the Tennessee Titans. All they got to do is win.
Win and they're in.
And they're in, but there's a chance that they could screw the pooch. And, you know, anytime you got a divisional matchup, they're going up against the Jaguars. Not only are the Jaguars a great team this year, but they don't want to lose to somebody in their own division.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's a meaningless game at any point, it is important to those players because the Jaguars haven't been good that in the last decade.
So who are your picks for the 2 wild card spots?
So the 2 wild card spots, I have to go the LA Chargers. I have to say that they're going to get in, and the Ravens.
So you're going Chargers, Ravens?
Yes.
I think I kind of have to agree with you there. Yeah. Titans have the easiest road. It just really depends on what the Jaguars do. If they decide to rest their players, because they really have no benefit to win this game, other than maybe they just don't want to see Tennessee again for a third time. So I might go Chargers, but I don't know. Maybe I'll go Bills. I feel like I need to go Bills. Support my brother-in-law, Craig. He texted me today. He said he listened to our AFC East show that he was on.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Right before the McGregor fight.
Yes.
And he said we were so wrong about his Bills and about a lot of teams, about the Browns, about the Jets, how we said the Jets were only going to win 2 games. So I'll go Bills. And are the Ravens in? Are they locked in?
I believe they are. So
okay.
They're in currently they're sitting in the 5th seed. But they are not a lock in that spot.
But are they a lock in the playoffs?
Yes, I believe they are.
Okay, so then I'll go Bills, Ravens.
Bills, Ravens,
Yep.
huh? I'm going Chargers, Ravens. Now you're doing that because Craig's a Bills fan, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to support my family. He's finally family now. Before, I couldn't remember his name on the last show. But now that he's actually my brother-in-law, married my sister, I guess I got to remember his name, right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Let's jump over to the NFC then.
Greg, go Bills.
Did you say Greg or Craig?
Greg.
It's Craig.
Damn. Sorry, Greg.
All right, so the NFC looks a lot better. It looks a lot healthier than the AFC does.
So it's not quite the dumpster fire that the AFC is. Not the top 2 or 3 teams in the AFC, just everybody else.
No, it's not. So I'm pretty sure the Vikings, the Eagles, the Panthers, and the Saints are all locked in. The Falcons need to beat my Panthers to win. I need the Saints to lose and my Panthers to win the division. I also need Minnesota to lose, the Saints to lose, and my Panthers to win to get the first round bye. And then, like we said, Atlanta needs to win, and Seattle needs to win, and they need Atlanta to lose in order to get into the playoffs. So, like I said, that Atlanta win over the Seahawks, again, was the deciding factor between those 2 teams, it looks like.
Now, do you think the Falcons will... Do you think they have a chance of losing this game with so much on the line?
Again, it just depends on which Carolina Panthers team shows up. They almost lost to the damn Buccaneers last week. I love my Panthers. I think they're a really good team. I think they're better than what they play most weeks. I think they have a chance to make a deep playoff run, but I never know which team's going to show up, especially on offense. So I'm looking forward to... I'm still holding out hope that we beat the Falcons, the Saints lose, and the Minnesota Vikings lose, and we get that. I really think we need that week 1 bye.
It's a lot of variables right there.
There is a lot of variables, but I'm a man of faith, and I got faith in Cam.
Wait a second. Where did that voice come from? Was that the voice of God?
That was the voice of God.
God, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, this is God.
God is a sadomasochist because God is a Cleveland Browns fan. And you have to be a sadomasochist to be a Cleveland Browns fan.
Well, we're going to have a interesting season next year with the 2 first-round draft picks for
that means you can
2018.
That means you can draft Darnold and Rosen and make a decision.
We're going to take the quarterback again this year probably and another wide receiver instead of getting an offensive line to protect them. And it's going to be another ugly season, I believe.
So the good thing about the Browns is they get a lot of high first-round draft picks, and they have over the last 10 years. And I think only 1 or 2 of them have ever materialized.
Did you say the last 10 years? I think it's been since they came back into the league.
Probably. I was trying to just, nice round numbers, going one at a time, just trying to see what is the best way to show that as the Browns. But you're right. It's probably been about 500 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they've never won a Super Bowl. They came close a couple times, but there's these drives and these fumbles that have happened in the years past. And, whatever. Moving on from the Browns, though. We got to give... Sorry.
We keep getting derailed. It's what we do.
A God came on for 5 seconds, and then he disappeared.
He got pulled away.
So, that's right.
So what do you think happens? Who do you got, Falcons or Seahawks going into the playoffs?
I got Falcons. Seahawks.
So you think the
they're
Falcons
decimated.
beat my Panthers?
Yes. I think it's a meaningless game. I think the Panthers are going to be we'll say, ferocious team in the playoffs. Right. But I don't think that this game is something that they're going to show up for. And I kind of like where the Falcons have gone as of late. I felt that in the middle of the year they kind of slumped and they weren't really showing a lot. But they've kind of pulled it together, and now they look like a more well-rounded, complete team, similar to what they were last year. And I just think that they're going to sneak into the playoffs here, and it'll be a lot better for the Atlanta Falcons when they get this win over the Panthers. And I think your NFC South, I think it's good for them.
Yeah, I mean, so we'd have 3 NFC South teams in. We're definitely by far the best division in football right now. And I just looked. Now the Falcons don't need to beat us to get in. They can have Seattle lose, and they can lose and they still get in. So I'm hoping for a Panthers win. I don't know. Maybe I would rather see the Seahawks in the playoffs, though, than the Falcons.
Well, as a division foe to your Panthers, I would say, yeah, you don't want to see
a team for a third time.
No, you don't. That's just not something you want to do. So kind of moving a little bit off of the playoffs for just a second, I saw this a tweet earlier today, and I thought it would be a good topic to bring up. And the tweet said, if you could describe your team's season this year in one word, what would it be? And now that we've got God back, and he's a Browns fan, we've got a Panthers fan, and then you've got myself as a Redskins fan, we've got a kind of a diverse group of NFL teams.
Right.
So
we got playoff team, middle of the road team, and bottom dweller.
Yes. So if you could use one word to describe your team.
You can make it 2 words. I feel like one word is just so limited. But you can use 1 to 2 words.
1 to 2 words?
To describe the Browns season, what would it be?
Very lousy.
Very lousy.
Okay. Stating the obvious.
Yeah.
Definitely going with that.
So I responded to this tweet, and I just said playoffs.
Playoffs.
We're back, baby.
Playoffs?
The 3rd or 4th time in 4 years. The 3rd time in 4 years. It's good to be back. No,
Let me
4th
know
time in
how
5
it
years.
is, how it feels. Let me know how it feels.
It feels good. Feels good. What about you, Kyle? Disappointment?
Yep, I actually was going to say that. Disappointing. Disappointing is the way I would describe it. Also, we'll miss you, Kirk.
Oh, you think he's gone?
I don't want him to be gone.
Right.
You know that I am an avid Kirk Cousins fan. He's really been a great quarterback for us as a team. We just haven't had that complete team that can make it. We made the playoffs 3 years ago now, but we're missing it this year. We missed it last year. We should have been in last year. We lose the last game of the year. We've been on this downward slope, and we haven't won a Super Bowl since 1992, as I mentioned earlier today. Right. So every year is disappointing that we're not in the playoffs. So I got to go disappointing.
I don't think my Brownies are the only people that are having quarterback issues this year. I think we had RG3 for a while, which he came from
the Redskins.
Washington.
Yeah, we dumped him like a
hot sack of potatoes.
Yeah, we rode him into the ground. We waited till we broke his knee, and then we said, "All right, now you're not fast enough to be our quarterback. Hey, you could go play for the Browns."
Yeah,
I mean,
and we'll probably get Kirk Cousins over at the Cleveland Stadium eventually.
You know what? If
I had Osweiler and we didn't keep him, so I don't know what the story was at.
So there is a chance that the Redskins could do the franchise tag one more year, I believe.
Right, pay him like $32 million.
So here's the scenario I want to throw out there because this is kind of a fun scenario. So what if the Redskins say, all right, we're going to put you on this franchise tag, and the Browns come and say, all right, well, we want to sign him. We want you to trade him to us. We want to do a sign and trade type deal. We'll give you both of our first-round draft picks and our second-round draft pick, which is basically like a first-round draft pick because you're the first pick in the second round. Those top 3 draft picks, would that be worth it for the Cleveland Browns to get Kirk Cousins?
To them it would be, but I don't think it would be worth it in the long run
No, not in the long run.
with his ailing history.
So you don't want a top 5 quarterback?
Everybody wants a top 5 quarterback. That's why we're paying them all this money per year on these franchise tags.
All right, that Redskins moment was brought to you by Loudbeard Beard Oil. If your beard feels a little crusty, use Loudbeard Beard Oil.
It's glistening, it's dripping, it's delicious, and it's moist.
Moist.
Ooh, baby.
Ooh, baby.
All right, so when I went into the MLB playoffs, I picked a team because my team was out. I know you're on this Chargers bandwagon. Is that going to be your team if they make it? So what's going to be your team if they don't make it?
All right, so if they make it,
Are we
that's
doing
my
Super
team.
Bowl predictions right
No,
now?
not Super Bowl predictions. Just like so when the Major League Baseball had their playoffs, I always pick a team to root for because I want to have like a rooting interest, and the Tampa Bay Rays are never in the playoffs. So I picked the Houston Astros. I didn't pick them to win. I just picked them to root for them. They seemed like a fun team to root for, and it turned out they won the World Series. So what is your rooting interest going to be in the playoffs, Kyle?
So the Jaguars have to be my number one rooting interest. Number one, because they have UCF legend A.J. Boye as a cornerback.
Of course.
And they have UCF legend Blake Bortles at the helm. And they have Florida State legend Jalen Ramsey.
Right.
And with their powers
Don't forget
combined,
about Gator legend Dante
Fowler.
Fowler.
You mean the third string defensive end?
Sure, whatever.
All right.
Don't say that to his face. He'll throw your liquor into the pond.
He's already done that to me once. It hurt my feelings.
And stomp on your glasses.
Oh, Dante. I'm sorry, man. But Jaguars would be my number one rooting interest.
Okay.
I like the Chargers, too, because it was more of that underdog story. I like the fact that they started the season out 0-4 and did that like come back and get into the playoffs. So I am rooting to see them in the playoffs. But being in the AFC, I always like to have maybe an AFC team and an NFC team, and I kind of hope the two of them end up in the Super Bowl. And I'm not big on these teams that are always in it. So Steelers, Patriots, you're out. AFC, Jaguars, you're my team. Now you go over to the NFC. I kind of like the Rams. The whole Todd Gurley going from, being a terrific rookie to being a sophomore just slump kind of guy, and then coming back and having an MVP season this year. Sean McVay, Washington Redskins legend Sean McVay being the new coach over at LA. I kind of like the LA Rams. Now, I am also, even though they're in my division, I am a partial Eagles fan. I do have an Eagles jersey. I have sang the Eagles chant on Scout Team Sports before. So I do like the Eagles. I have to go Eagles, NFC, Jaguars, AFC. Those are my two bandwagons.
Kirk Cousins is no longer a top 5 quarterback. I can't believe you didn't say my Panthers, man. I've been supporting your Redskins. I've been fighting for you all offseason, taking on Preston and Brandon and all these guys from all these other sports shows about how Kirk Cousins is a top 5 quarterback. You can't even say I might root for your Carolina Panthers. That's okay. Anyways, so who are you rooting for in the playoffs?
I think the Rams look pretty tough this year. I think they got a strong team this year. You don't have the history with Kurt Warner back there anymore. I think you got a new team that's up and coming, and I think they're going to be really strong out there.
Yeah, Todd Gurley's going to be tough to stop. That's one of the teams I'm really worried about. I don't want to have to fly across the country to L.A. to play them. That's why I'm really wanting this week 1 bye. So that way somebody has to come to us rather than us having to go to them. So I don't want to play Minnesota in Minnesota, and I don't want to play LA in LA. Philly, that's a tough place to play as well. So, but we're going to have to play there no matter what because they're the number 1 seed. So
I didn't want to pick the Panthers in the playoffs because I'm a little worried P. Diddy's going to take ownership and Colin Kaepernick will be starting.
Well, he won't be starting in the Super Bowl.
He'll be starting in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that upsets me a little bit. And I don't want that to happen to Cam because I really like Cam.
Cam's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He's gotten some heat in the past for different things that he's done, but he's always owned up to it. He's always been a very admirable man by saying when he has made a mistake or done something stupid in the past, he admits to it and he takes his responsibility for it. I kind of wish Jameis would do the same in Tampa Bay, but he's no Cam Newton.
All right, well, instead of doing MVPs...
Thank you, God.
Instead of doing MVPs, let's do let's just do what we're looking forward to next year, 2018, as we wrap up this episode. Our last Scout Team Sports episode of 2017. What are you looking forward to next year, Kyle?
I always look forward to early September, I guess late August, early September, when I really get my Jets going here, and I say, all right, Redskins are going to do it this year. We're going to be the best team. We're going to make it to the Super Bowl 15-1. So I always look forward to the opportunity to say that before it doesn't happen in the regular season. And that's one of the things I look forward to.
Shouldn't you be looking forward to signing Kirk Cousins to a long-term contract?
I am looking forward to that, but I've been slightly pessimistic as of late. My pessimism comes from we should have done that last year. Why didn't we do it last year? And honestly, the way the team ended this year, it kind of shows me that maybe we're just not really designed right now to be a winning team. But I don't want all of that blame to go on Kirk because I think he is the answer for the Washington Redskins. I look at it as the New Orleans Saints the last few years. The Saints have been kind of the bottom dweller the last 2 or 3 years before this year because it was Drew Brees trying to carry an entire team with no defense on his back. And you can't win with that.
Right.
Now, once you get a good defense and you have a good running game and you have other weapons, then that quarterback can be that superstar that he is. So not to say that Kirk Cousins is as good as Drew Brees, but the team around the Kirk Cousins in Washington is very similar to what the Saints were last year.
Gotcha.
So I look forward to putting a man on the moon.
That's a good song, by the way.
I like it.
REM, right? Or is that?
Yeah, no, that's REM,
Yeah.
right?
All right, so God, the sadomasochist Cleveland Browns fan, what are you looking forward to in 2018?
I'm looking forward to the Vegas Raiders.
The Vegas Raiders. Is that coming
Oh,
next year?
nice one.
Does that start next year? Or
I
is
believe
it? Are we
so.
still a
Is
year
it-
away?
Or is it 20?
I don't know. We can get excited for it next year.
I think they're going to be excited to be in a new stadium and new area, and I think they're going to turn around and make a run at it next year. I think they're going to get some good draft picks this year, and they should be good, I believe.
All right, so you're not looking forward to the NFL draft for your Cleveland Browns.
No.
Browns are on the clock. Do you want Rosen or do you want Darnold? It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah, I think it's going to be. I seen a T-shirt the other
What about
day.
Josh Allen?
I seen a T-shirt the other day that said "rebuilding since 1968." So I'm
Nice.
still
So rebuilding year. in
Yeah.
Cleveland.
rebuilding. Yeah.
That could be a Scout Team radio T-shirt.
We're a rebuilding year.
Yeah, it's a rebuilding year since 1968.
I'm looking forward to a lot of things this coming up year. I'm actually looking forward to the NBA playoffs. We talked a lot about how all these trades made things a lot more interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing Warriors versus Rockets and Cleveland versus
the power shift has definitely
definitely
changed.
happened. Yeah, so Cleveland
Celtics.
versus Celtics, and maybe some other teams that might come up and surprise us. Oklahoma City's turned things around a little bit.
They
this
have
last, this
4
last
games
week.
in a row.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves, yeah. Milwaukee beat Cleveland the other night, a week or two ago. And then obviously I'm looking forward to this new Gator regime. Dan Mullen taking over. He had an exciting recruiting class last week. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. I'm not expecting SEC titles or national championships year one, but I'm expecting improvement. I'm expecting an offense that ranks above 100.
I'm kind of looking forward to Chip Kelly being back in college football.
Yeah, that's exciting too.
Yeah.
Honestly, no. Like, I'm excited to see what he can bring to UCLA.
It'll be
Give
fun
a little
to
bit
watch.
more competition in the Pac-12. You like to see more depth in these conferences and stuff. So, are you looking forward to Ohio State beating not Notre Dame? You guys are playing USC
Yeah, USC.
in the Cotton Bowl, right? Is
I
that
believe it's
January
Cotton Bowl.
1st?
Yeah, January 1st.
All right, so you should be looking forward to that too, right?
Yeah,
Who-
we're going to crush them, I
You're
believe.
gonna crush
yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be definitely
I've been
a
going back and
powerhouse.
forth on that game. I still undecided. Right now I'm leaning towards USC, but I could see it's tough to bet against Urban Meyer when he has that long.
Depends on if my quarterback's all healthy and all that.
Right.
I know he had-
You mean
he had a couple-
Sam Darnold, your future Browns quarterback?
No, TJ Barrett.
Oh, okay.
JT Barrett.
JT Barrett.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were looking forward to seeing who the future Browns quarterback
no,
was
no,
going to
no,
be.
no.
And obviously, first and foremost, I'm looking forward to our 2018 as Scout Team Sports, looking to continue to grow, gain our viewership, our listenership, and coming up with new ideas to make the show better, man. I'm excited. Anthony Mack, is that you?
I have a cold coming on. I don't think I'm going to be
can't
here
make
next
it.
week.
Is that the gold membrane?
Yeah. All right, so 2018, man, we're looking forward to it, guys. Thanks for listening to our show. Thanks for the support you've given us the last 6 months. 6 months, if I can talk. Anything else, Kyle?
I want to thank, again, all of our listeners. A lot of other great podcasts out there that have been supportive of us.
Yeah, man.
12-Ounce Radio, those guys, Jeff Beck, he's put together the 12-Ounce Sports radio station.
Yep.
And he's been a really great supporter of us as a show and helping us
Podcast
out.
Basement Sports Report has given a shout-out after shout-out. We appreciate those guys. They had
Podcast
me
BSR
on.
is amazing.
Podcast BSR is amazing. Girls Beer Sports, they're another awesome podcast.
Carrie
that
over there, she
give
knows
us-
her shit.
They give us all kinds of shout-outs and love. Reality Check-In, those guys.
Sports Counter.
We look forward to you guys coming back. Sports Counter, they're coming back next year. So I'm excited too, man.
So this is something that we need to do, Chris. This is I'm challenging us. I kind of like what Podcast BSR does when they do their Zix picks because
Yeah.
they're bringing on different talent from all over the country, and we need to do that. So when we have an opportunity to bring on a Matt Melendez from Reality Check-In,
Right.
or if we have an opportunity to bring on Carrie from Girls Beer Sports, or if we have an opportunity to bring Preston on the show, we need to do it. Now,
Right.
you've done a great job over at the College Tailgaters bringing on Memphis Spence, who
Yep.
is a great...
And we had Clayton on as well. We're
Yep.
going to reach out. We've been trying to just get our feel for the show and kind of get that down. And then we're looking forward to bringing on more and more guests each week.
And
so.
I also want to thank God for appearing today.
Yeah, thank you, God, for coming on the show.
Yes, we're streaking down Lake Mary Boulevard tonight.
We're
Anybody
going
wanna join?
streaking.
Streaking through the quad.
Who knew God was a big fan of Frank the Tank?
I think I did.
All right.
That doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise me at all. All right, guys, tune in next week where we'll find out what God, Kyle, and Anthony would do for a Klondike bar.
OH. Ow.
We're out.
See ya.